At 34 years old, I can confidently say that my skin is in much better shape than it was in my 20s. And it's not from using overly expensive ingredients. It's actually quite simple and straightforward, and today I'm going to walk you through my routine, what possibly could work for you, and where to get started. If you felt anything like I did in my late 20s, I felt totally overwhelmed by the skincare industry. I had no clue of where to look or where to get started. It was essentially like the wild, wild west. I can confidently say that I had some of the worst skin in my 20s of any age in my life. Even as a teenager, I think my skin was better quality. And I know that was because of various factors such as diet, lack of sunscreen use, no actual regular regimen or practice, and just general not caring and just not great habits overall. I remember distinctly when I was 27 years old and I was having a conversation with a colleague about skincare. She had beautiful skin and she was like, look, you just need to do this, this, and that. And I don't even remember what those ingredients were at the time, but I remember her pointing me to The Ordinary, which, if you're not familiar with The Ordinary, is a skincare brand that is very straightforward in their marketing and their branding about what the skincare products are. So you'll see things directly like vitamin C or niacinamide, retinols. They'll really call each product exactly what it is. And at the time for me, this was like looking at a science lab. I had no idea what these ingredients meant. I had no clue of where to get started. But the nice thing was that needing to understand these ingredients opened up the world of skincare for me and led me down paths of a ton of research, following a ton of different board certified dermatologists on YouTube, and just in general soaking up that knowledge so I could really better understand what was necessary, what I really needed to spend my money on, and what was going to make a difference in my skin. I've broken up this video into a few different parts: my morning routine, my nighttime routine, things that I'm experimenting with, and just some final thoughts. First thing in the morning, I usually wash my face with water. I typically don't use a face wash. I don't think it's necessary to add in a product there. I think typically if I've cleaned my face from the night before, it doesn't really need a lot. Not messing overly with my skin's barrier is ideal. Water is fine, it'll do the job. Within the last year or two, I realized that I needed to use a somewhat lightweight moisturizer for my morning routine. This probably sounds pretty obvious. If you had anything like me where you're having issues with your products pilling after layering several up, this is where I noted I needed to use something super lightweight. I have been using this Ilia product hydrating moisturizer. It's called the Base Face Milk for I think this is my second bottle now. I really like it. I think it seems great. It goes on really nicely. It's like the first layer. It really adds up like a nice, enough hydration without being too thick or messing or interfering with my other products. In saying that though, I almost consider maybe not doing that, and that's because of my next product I'm about to talk about. So this next product is a holy grail product for me. I'll go into a little deeper dive, and that is my Elta MD UV Clear Sunscreen. This is the SPF 46 formulation. It is a combo of a physical and a chemical sunscreen. If you're not 100% familiar with what that means, essentially it has a mineral-like substance in it called zinc oxide. That's the physical part. It kind of creates more of a physical barrier as a protection against the sun rays. And then you also have what they call a chemical, which goes more into your skin and helps provide that protection, and that is from octinoxate. It also has some really helpful things like niacinamide in it. It's been on repeat in my Amazon orders. I have it with me in the morning. I put it on. I carry one with me in my work bag so that I can reapply if I'm going to go out for lunch. It's with me all the time. I use it on my shoulders, my neck, my hands, my face. You know, the jury is not completely in or out in terms of chemical sunscreens, right? So octinoxate, there is, potential concern with that being a hormonal or endocrine disruptor, among other things, that could potentially may or may not be good. In general, right now, the FDA has approved use of octinoxate up to 7.5%, which is what this formulation has. I am always on the lookout for a sunscreen that could be fully physical, use of mineral without using the chemical portion. However, those always tend to be a bit thicker, have that more white, chalky appearance, and just never quite works. I've also been to dermatologists who recommend, and they also carry and supply this brand of sunscreen. So I really trust it quite a bit and have had a lot of success with it and would totally recommend it to anyone. But really, that's it for my absolute necessary morning time skincare regimen. I'll go into some supplementary stuff later on. So for my nighttime regimen, at night, I have been using this La Roche-Posay Hydrating Gentle Cleanser. I really love La Roche-Posay's products. I find that they are simple. They're, I think, a good products for being in a decent range. I think this was probably I want to say $16 to $20. It contains the ceramide 3 and niacinamide. Again, these are Rockstar products and you'll hear them a lot all over the place. I question whether it really is effective in a face wash because it's not like your skin has a lot of time to absorb those ingredients. If you're a dermatologist listening to this, please feel free to chime in. But anyway, I find this is a great cleanser. I know some people will double cleanse. I used to use a little bit of micellar water at first to get stuff off, but I have been using a mascara product. It peels off by itself really nicely, so I don't really need to use that. If I need a double cleanse, I just do another cleanse with the same face wash. Just a quick detour on what niacinamides are. These are in a lot of skincare ingredients. It's just essentially a form of vitamin B3. It helps in a lot of different things, like helping with your skin's production of hyaluronic acid, which is essentially just keeping your skin nice and hydrated. It can help with pore size reduction or have anti-inflammatory properties. There's just a lot of nice things about niacinamides. You'll hear dermatologists talking about all the time. It's in a lot of different things. I used to buy something directly from The Ordinary that was just niacinamide in its own formulation. I stopped doing that though because it just felt like it's in everything now, so it doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense to buy it on its own. So now for my holiest of holy grails skincare product, what I will completely swear by, and I believed definitely changed my skin shape from my 20s, and that is tretinoin. Now, what is tretinoin? What you'll hear about often is tretinoin, retinols, and these are all vitamin A derivatives that essentially help with your skin cell turnover rate, collagen production, even pore size reduction and unclogging the pores. And again, I just want to highlight why I love it so much. Even at the age of around 25, I had the start of fine lines on my face, and I do not have them anymore. My pigmentation was way worse. I still have a little bit of skin pigmentation and red spots, but to be honest, I think some of that would have to be addressed more intensively with a dermatologist, probably with lasering, chemical peels, or possibly microneedling. I used to always have pretty enlarged, like blackhead-like pores, and that definitely has been majorly reduced after using tretinoin. The cool thing about tretinoin is that this is something that's been, I think, patented in the 60s, apparently on the list of World Health Organization as like their list of essential medicines. It's also been the longest, most studied retinoid therapy for photoaging. I remember I had an esthetician tell me before about her mother using it for years and years and years. She was using it only on her face. Turns out she wasn't putting it on her neck, and you could totally tell the difference. So it really is effective. I put it on my face, my neck, my shoulders, even sometimes my hands and my arms, just to have everything covered. However, you may or may not know this already, but you do need a prescription for tretinoin. This is not something you can get over the counter. In order to get a prescription, you could use, if you have a dermatologist you're already seeing, you could ask them about this. I have gotten my prescriptions through online brands. I believe the first company I got it with was from Agency by Curology. I now currently get my prescription through Redbox, and I just found it was more cost effective and it does the job. I think I started out at 0.025%, Now I'm at a 0.05, and I think the strongest strength it can be is 0.1%. This is what it looks like. This is the packaging, just like any other prescription product in a box. I'm going to try to stick to this for probably a few years at least. Maybe I'll go up to 0.1% when I'm in my late 30s or early 40s. I don't see the point of forcing my body to keep going to different levels if I'm finding a good balance with it, and I have seen great results. There are some alternatives to retinols, and those are also, for example, retinal, or from retinaldehyde, which is another vitamin A derivative. It tends to be less irritating on your skin, and typically I think that can be bought over the counter. Various skincare brands carry, and I know there's a lot of good reliable ones. I've also recently heard of bakuchiol. This is not a vitamin A derivative. It's actually from like the seed of a plant that was commonly found in Indian Ayurveda. In a short clinical study, they defined that it had similar decrease in photo effects, kind of like the retinol products without skin irritation. So I personally have never used either retinaldehyde or bakuchiol, so I cannot vouch for that personally, and I cannot recommend any, but I know that is something I have heard often from other derms online and other individuals who have tested them out. I finished off my nightly routine with another La Roche-Posay product. This is the Double Repair Tolerian face moisturizer. Again, it contains the ceramide 3 and the niacinamide. Ceramides, they're a really hot item right now as well. They're essentially, I think, a natural occurring lipid or fat molecule in our body that helps with skin barrier and protection. So I think by including that also is supposed to be helpful with your skin barrier. One thing to take away is this moisturizer is on the thicker side. Believe it or not, I actually used to use it in the morning, not really thinking about it, and that was partly why I was like, this plus my sunscreen plus then my putting on my makeup, things were starting to pill. So I realized I did need something lighter weight for the morning, but it's perfect for night, especially if I'm like just coming out of the shower at night and my skin is really kind of feels dry. I slap this on right away. I am actually running out right now and I need some more, but I love their products. Always, I think, within an affordable-ish price point. Again, I think this is probably close to the 20-ish range, but I use it a lot. I recommend it to anyone. It's been very gentle on my skin, so it's definitely a go-to. Believe it or not, those were my top products. If I had to, clear out anything and just stick with any or a few products, those would be it. But these next items that I'm going to discuss are things I play with. So now that I have established a clear routine of the things I absolutely need that give me what I want, these are just some of the extra added benefits that I don't know how effective they truly are. I know I've heard dermatologists talk about them, but I also don't think they're as truly studied as things like tretinoin or like sunscreen, but they are things to explore if that's something you're interested in. Many dermatologists online who I really respect and love watching their content talk a lot about vitamin C or vitamin C based ingredients. I'll be honest with you, I have tried using vitamin C products. I don't know if I've totally seen a huge difference. I think maybe I was expecting some brightening. I know it's supposed to be kind of helpful in protecting your skin and from kind of different exposure of whatever during the day. It's something you usually put on in the morning. I've tried Timeless vitamin C. I found that it seemed good. What I trust it is because packaging it's in doesn't allow any light in. It's totally opaque, and that's one thing they say when you buy a vitamin C product, you want it to be in dark or opaque packaging because vitamin C is very unstable, and that's why you'll often see it be super expensive because it's hard to formulate it in such a way that the vitamin C will remain stable. Otherwise, it can just oxidize or break down and not be effective anymore. One content creator who I really love, Angie Hot and Flashy, she actually did such a great video comparing different vitamin C products. And the reason why I did try the Timeless one was because she actually did a pH balance test of the different vitamin Cs. And I forget where you want what pH you want your vitamin C to be in. but Timeless came up as like being kind of a good one. It's also more of an affordable product, and when I say affordable, I think it's still in the like I want to say 40-ish range. I've used it a couple times, but I'm currently trying something else. This is actually something I got at Target. Versed. This is their brightening serum, vitamin C plus licorice root extract. I have only been using it less than a week, so I can't say anything on it yet, honestly. We'll see. Of course, the product that you'll hear a lot of dermatologists talk about, the SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic. This baby will set you back almost $200 USD. I have never tried it. I would love to try it, but I almost feel like I can't justify it. I don't know, maybe soon, one day, once I'm rich. One thing I question, like I know the bottle is tinted, but considering how unstable vitamin C can be, I want to know why their bottle's still somewhat translucent. I know it is kind of that brownish color, but still, we'll see. I would love to try it. If you've tried it, let me know. Now, exfoliants are something that I am also still experimenting with. I have been using this Dermatologica daily microfoliant. It's like one of the only micro exfoliants that is physical, that is probably safe to use. And if you're using St. Ives apricot scrub, I'm looking at you. It's very gentle. I started using it because when I was using tretinoin, I noticed that my skin was starting to shed more. And so when I was putting on my makeup, I'd get more flaky skin. And so I needed something to kind of help slough off some of those dead skin cells, and that's why I got this. But I will say that I'm considering not getting it anymore. It's not cheap. It's probably, I think this bottle is probably around the $80 range. And that's because of this next ingredient that I want to talk about that is actually FDA approved and more affordable. But first, I wanted to address AHA and BHA acids. These are chemical exfoliants, so alpha hydroxy and beta hydroxy acids, and they're just different strengths of acids that can help with exfoliation. I actually have not been using them a lot, so I just started again introducing them into my routine. This is also from a mask from Versed, and it contains AHA and BHA. Really what these kind of do is help again with getting out those dead skin cells, help with even skin tone. I am varying it right now with my tretinoin, so I'll do I think it's called the 3-1-3 method, 3 nights of my tretinoin, and then 1 night of my AHA BHA. And this is just so I don't overdo it and traumatize my skin. Some people can handle more acids and intense ingredients and can do it more frequently, but for me, I found this to be a good balance, so I'm not overly stripping my skin or overly adding things that could irritate it. Yeah, so far so good. It goes on like a mask and no complaints. Now, the next product I want to talk about is colloidal oats. This is just some random brand. Don't worry about it too much, but I first learned about colloidal oats from Dr. Dre on YouTube. She's a board certified dermatologist, and she was talking about how colloidal oats, so essentially colloidal is just means like they're super finely ground oats, and it's FDA approved for, I think, people with eczema and those kind of issues. It's super calming, and I use it as a mask, so I'll just put it with a little bit of water, put it on as a mask. I kid you not, my face is so smooth afterwards. It's ridiculous. It's so good. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if I did that once or twice a week, I might not even need this anymore. And between that and my AHA and BHA, I think that could do the job. So if you also are just wanting it just to feel calm and nice, smooth skin, oh man, I highly recommend trying this. It's not absolutely necessary. It's nice and it's not super expensive. Another thing I have recently tried are peptides. Essentially, those are just the short chains of amino acids, so the building blocks of protein. In skincare, they are supposed to help stimulate collagen production or reduce wrinkles. A lot of those things that you hear across multiple products. But I recently just tried the Medicate Liquid Peptides Advanced MP. This is a wrinkle reduction serum, 30% multi-peptide complex with growth factors. I got it because I heard dermatologists talk about it, and one who suggested using it before you put your tretinoin on to kind of double whammy the impact of good things happening. I don't know if it's just because I only used 1 bottle. I don't think I've noticed any huge significant change from what I was already seeing in my skincare. I was not going to order it again, and to be frank, I was thinking, this is expensive. It was over $80. It's almost $90. It's not cheap. I accidentally did not stop my auto replenish, so I will be getting another bottle, and who knows, maybe I'll see if it is effective. But to be honest, if you're trying to figure out where to put your money, don't worry about peptides. These are like advanced things that maybe could help, but in the long term scheme of things, for healthy skin, I don't know if are they really necessary. Maybe if you're a little bit older, you're in your 40s or 50s and you need something even more, and you're dealing with more collagen loss, I would think that maybe having like the more the merrier kind of situation when stimulating collagen production. Again, not a dermatologist, so I cannot say these things in entire confidence. But just right now, if you're like, I would say late 20s, mid 30s, and you are just trying to figure out a solid regimen, don't worry about adding in expensive products like this. Now, one word of caution, I think it's important to be incremental in your skincare routine. And what I mean by that is when you have built a foundation. So let's say you've gotten your basics down. You got your sunscreen, you got your simple washes, and your tretinoin or a vitamin A or whatever derivative. Have that in place, feel confident in it for a few months before you start adding in these extra ingredients. And the reason is, first of all, you want to know what's actually working, right? You want to see if, like, say you get tretinoin, is it actually going to be beneficial for you? Are you going to have issues with it? Did you have to try something else? You need to see what's working for you. And then if you need extra added things and you're trying to go for more even skin tone and really helping that, or pushing out more of that collagen production, try one thing at a time. And I know this is even hard for me to do, honestly. Like, I got both of these first products the same week. I started using them the same week. Probably should have tried once at a time. And that is so that you can determine if something's, maybe you'll have a reaction to it. You need to see that. And also, it really helps in learning, is this added thing that I'm spending my hard-earned money on really giving me the results I'm looking for? Is it actually doing anything? Because I think outside of a few key ingredients, if it's not science-based and studied and shown over time that it works, I think a lot of stuff out there, as we all know, is likely just our money kind of going down the drain. The benefits that they can provide is probably minimal. And if you're really going for extreme heavy-duty changes on your skin, some of that just might also require a dermatologist or advanced intervention. So this was a lot, and I'm hoping you're not overwhelmed. I hope that if you could take anything away, it's one, finding a good sunscreen that can work with you, whether that's a physical, a chemical, a combination of both. If it works for you, that's what's important, because protecting your skin from the sun, it's important. Two, I think my second most important ingredient that I have found is tretinoin, or if you can't use tretinoin, some sort of retinol, vitamin A or bakuchiol, or something that can help with your skin cell turnover. Another one of my favorite dermatologists online, Dr. Shireen Idris, she discusses a lot about how getting that more even skin tone as you age will help a lot with just looking healthy and having that youthful glow. But it's not just about what we put on our skin, it's also about what we put inside our body as well. And if you are interested in learning about some of these simple nutrition and food techniques I've used to get a more sustainable, healthy eating habit for my skin and my overall health, feel free to watch this next video I have here. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.